Hello everyone, I decided to make a little serious in making cheats because I don't think there are that many on YouTube. I came across this early game access called Reflex on Steam, and I thought it would be a good game to use for all my cheating demonstrations. Today we're just going to be making a bunny hop, because that's probably the easiest cheat you can make for these types of games, and it's also somewhat useful. Hopefully in the future we'll move on to making more challenging and interesting features like aimbot or ESP, but let's start with something simple for now. I'm only going to be using cheat engine today. So how does a bunny hop work? The way a bunny hop works is that most games will have a boolean, true or false value somewhere in their game memory indicating if your character is on the ground or not. So the on ground boolean will be set to true when we're on the ground and false when we're not on the ground. So all we need to do to make a bunny hop is to find that on ground boolean value somewhere in the memory, and then make a script that constantly reads in the value and will press on spacebar whenever we're on the ground to jump. So the on ground boolean is not all games will have it. So for example, I know that in CSGO the boolean doesn't exist. Instead there's a pointer to the ground object that your character is standing on, and it's null if you're in the air. But for most games our assumption that there is some on ground boolean value will prove to be correct. So let's try to make a bunny hop now. Alright, so let's get cracking. Let's open up Reflex and Cheat Engine, select Reflex, and start the game of Reflex. Now I won't be explaining too much of Cheat Engine here, so hopefully you're already familiar with this. So before we do anything, we need to go into the settings of Cheat Engine to make our scanning life easier. So change the update interval to 1 millisecond, and also go into hotkeys. Change speed hack speed 1 to F1 speed 0, speed hack speed 2 to F2 speed 1. So what this will do is when we press an F1 the game will freeze, when we press an F2 the game will unfreeze, and this will make scanning a lot easier for us. So back to our assumption, we assumed that there was an on-ground boolean value somewhere in the game's memory that's set to true or 1 when we're on the ground, and that is set to 0 when we are in the air. So let's start searching for that. We'll be searching for a byte, since as far as I know booleans on most programming languages are stored as a byte. So since we're on the ground we can search for 1 or true, and let's do that. Okay, so it found 8 million addresses, a lot of addresses. So let's jump into the air, press F1 to freeze the game, and search for 0 or false since we're not on the ground anymore. And we'll keep on repeating that until we get down to a few addresses and hopefully find that on ground boolean value. In the air 0, on the ground 1, in the air 0, expand this a bit, on the ground 1, 0. Okay, so we're down to 4 addresses, we got lucky. And we can see that the first two are acting really strange. The second one is always 0, the first one changes erratically, so we'll delete them. And when you're down to like 10 addresses you can just, you know, put them all here and figure it out yourself. It would be easier. Anyway, we can see that these two values are 1 right now since we're on the ground, and hopefully when we jump they'll be 0, and we jump, yep, they're 0. Okay, cool. So every time the game restarts, you'll need to find the addresses again since they're not static. There's two ways you can there's two things you can do to prevent that. So the first thing is to do a pointer scan, and the second thing is to look at what assembly instructions access this address, and just every time you restart the game, go look at that instruction and what addresses it will access. But I won't be showing any of that. You can just find that out on the Cheat Engine forums. There's really great tutorials on it. Anyway, so to make the script now, we found the value, now we need to make the script. So we'll be using Cheat Engine's Lua scripting capabilities to do this. So let's go into Tools, Lua Engine, and I already wrote the script. So I'll explain what it does. here we're creating a timer that will call this function every 1 millisecond. We'll call check keys every 1 millisecond and we'll enable the timer. Okay, so this function will be called pretty much every millisecond. And what it does is, if V is pressed on our keyboard, if we're pressing V, then it will read in a byte. It will read in this byte, the unground boolean byte, 1 byte from this address. And if the byte is set to 1, if we're on the ground, then we'll press in space. And if it's not set to 1, then we'll do nothing. So let's see if that works. Execute, and I'm gonna press the V key now and let's see if hopefully this works. V, okay, cool, this works. So that's pretty much how you make a bunny hop. It's pretty simple, and for most other games it will be the same. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's nothing too complicated.